Okay, all rise.
Julia, Sarah. You may be seated.
We would like to thank you, parents, and for the jury for coming to this small trial today. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today you will hear a truly horrific story of Mia Perez and her life-altering concussion. Mia is the daughter of Casey Perez. Miss Casey Perez is a great mother and was truly mortified when she found out about Mia. Casey is here today to explain that Rubicon Soccer Club should be held accountable for the occurrence of her daughter's serious, lifelong injuries. Now, as you can see, Mia is not here to show her side of the story today. She has suffered consequences where bright lights and loud noises can lead to migraines. Mia's brain is permanently damaged. This could have been prevented if the coach and supervisors of Rubicon would have acted more responsibly. Shannon Dempsey, who is the full-time coach of Rubicon, first tells us that the coaches had a short session on the care and prevention of injuries. But we had learned short after that their training barely touched on concussions. Although Shannon liked teaching boys teams much more than girls teams, he said that he couldn't shoot down his opportunity to work at Rubicon, especially since he told us that he did not enjoy working for his last job. When all of the medical forms were turned in at the beginning of the year, he didn't ask to look at the forms. He'd figured he'd get them if a player got injured and they needed insurance information. When Mia's first concussion took place, nobody knew it was serious until the second one. The day that the concussion took over, Shannon Dempsey witnessed Mia tripping and falling onto the ground, hitting her head hard. Coach Dempsey then called Mia out for the last 10 minutes of practice. As soon as practice ended, he had stated that Mia headed to her car before he could talk with her. He said that he had meant to call and check up on her, but it was too late when he got home, and it slipped his mind the next day. On game day, Coach Dempsey noticed about 10 minutes into the game that Mia wasn't playing as well as her usual. He decided to sub her out for a few minutes and to check up on her. When she had drank some water, the coach had chosen to put Mia back in for the rest of the game. The choices that Shannon Dempsey made that day ended up costing him his best player. Now, the thing that I find most astonishing are the things said after Mia's concussion. Casey told Shannon that Mia had mentioned something about hitting her head in practice on Monday, and why didn't Shannon make sure that Casey had known about it? Casey then told Shannon that Mia had suffered a concussion in the spring, and the coach should have known so that she could keep a closer eye on her. That was the first time that Shannon had ever heard about a past concussion, and he thought that it was Mia or Casey's responsibility to tell him about past injuries that have occurred. Casey then told Shannon that the information was in the medical form he got in the beginning of the season. After Casey had mentioned this, he went to look at Mia's medical waiver. He then noticed that the form did mention Mia's earlier concussion from the spring. Although the forms were brought to all of the games, as they were required to, he had never read through them before. He guessed afterwards that he should have read them all, but it just didn't occur to him in the busyness of the transition back in the summer. The excuses that Shannon made were not only irresponsible, they were also invalid. Shannon chose not to read the forms. He also chose to put Mia back in the game, even when he noticed she was not playing her best and might have an injury. The Rubicon Soccer Club needs to notice that this was a child's life that they were putting in harm. The coaches should always get to know their players, starting by reading their medical forms. Injuries are never a joke, especially concussions, and the Rubicon Soccer Club is acting like it's a minor issue. Mia had a lot of stardom on that team, and now it's like her whole life is taken away because of the bad decisions that were made by the Rubicon Soccer Club. They were irresponsible. The least that they can do now is pay for the lifelong damages incurred. These include medical bills and long-term assistance for Mia. She had a bright future. Now her dreams of college, soccer, and a normal life are completely shattered. Unfortunately, it is Mia who is paying for the price for Rubicon's inaction. At the end of the day, there's no amount of money that can ever be paid to bring Mia back her normal life. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on December 2nd, 2012, many witnessed a travesty whose fault was not that of Mia's coaches and friends. The facts and the evidence will show that Shannon Dempsey, Jordan Reddick, and Chris Durant are far from guilty, and in fact, Mia hid evidence from multiple people and was dishonest so she would win a scholarship. The star soccer player, who many said had a chance at the pros or even the Olympics, has now a slim chance of recovery because she lied. She was the top player for the Rubicon Under-17 Premier Team. In May 2012, Mia collided with a defender. She went to the doctor the next day and was told she had sustained a concussion. Her physician, Dr. Rick Mueller, explicitly told both Mia and her mother, in no uncertain terms, to return for a follow-up visit, and she was not to return to the soccer field to play. Mia never returned to the doctors for a follow-up visit. However, a month later, she did return to the soccer field. She returned in preparation for the tournament that was rapidly approaching. She desperately needed a scholarship to her top college because many college scouts would be there. The Monday before the tournament, Mia fell and hit her head. It was a very hard hit, and from her symptoms, she knew she had a concussion. She purposely did not disclose this information to her mother, who did not notice her symptoms such as fatigue, headaches, sleeping more than usual, and that her balance was clearly off. On the day of the tournament, December 2nd, 2012, Mia was tackled by a defender and hit her head, this time losing consciousness. As a result of her ignoring medical advice, she alleges that she is having post-concussion symptoms. Through the course of the trial, you may hear from Casey Perez, Mia Perez's mother, Tobin O'Reilly, Rowe High School soccer coach, Shannon Dempsey, Rubicon Soccer Under-17 Premier Team coach, Chris Durant, Mia's best friend, Jordan Reddick, director of Rubicon Soccer Club, and Dr. Bevan Register, a concussion expert. The plaintiff is filing for negligence. They claim that Rubicon Soccer is not worried about their players' health, and that it is their fault Mia is injured. Rubicon Soccer has multiple links on their website about their players, about ACL tear prevention, to eating healthy and hydration, and are planning to add information on concussions before next season. Fewer than half of the soccer clubs in the state have any kind of information on their website about any kind of nutrition and hydration, much less injury prevention. The plaintiff will say that Jordan Reddick was very negligent not to pick up a heads-up concussion kit. However, the USYS and USSF did not make an effort to publicize it to every club, all the state associations at the time. They even have students from Julian College on the sidelines at every club-hosted tournament, and the students even teach a class on ACL tear prevention. So the argument that Rubicon isn't worried about their player safety does not hold water. Bottom line is, Mia Perez hid evidence in a fraudulent manner, and the plaintiff chose to make bad decisions that caused her harm. Mia Perez chose to make some very personal choices. She chose to ignore the recommendations from her doctor. Moreover, she chose to ignore the most important person, herself, by not listening to her body and the warnings it was giving her after her concussion. As an athlete, Mia knew her body and its limitations. She chose to ignore these warning signs and symptoms, which leaves us standing in front of you today. In closing, I shall ask you this. If Mia was able to hide her concussion symptoms from her own mother, Casey Perez, how could anyone expect Shannon Dempsey or Jordan Reddick to know?
Okay, I call Bevan Register. state a name
Devin Register,
and how old are you?
45.
Okay, Tavares, can you ask those questions with your back to the window?
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I'm the director of sports science at Rowe University.
Okay. How are you involved with the plaintiff's case?
I saw Mia Perez about her injuries in February of 2013.
Okay, what type of injury is it?
Concussion.
And what's the condition?
A concussion is a type of MTBI, or mild traumatic brain injury, in which the brain is shaken within the skull.
What effects does having one or more severe concussions usually have on someone's future?
It can greatly impair them and give them some of many symptoms, including the ones that Mia Perez had, like sensitivity to light.
And what are your medical observations?
Well, it's a very serious concussion, and I think Mia Perez may never fully recover.
How do you have them?
I have had a concussion.
How severe were they?
It was not very severe.
And do you remember what sports they were?
One was in soccer when I was in high school, and another was as an adult and on a roller coaster and then in a skiing accident.
Okay, what qualifies you as a medical expert on concussions?
I'm the Mihalik Marshall Distinguished Professor, which is an award.
What are the sports with the highest concussion rates?
The sports with the highest concussion rates are boys football and girls soccer.
And what are the symptoms of a concussion?
Symptoms of a concussion can vary, including like sensitivity to light and sound, migraines, lethargy, mood swings. In Mia's case, a symptom she had was trying, which is a very common symptom of concussion, was trying to hide her symptoms.
What are was here behavior typical? Was for something?
Yeah, her behavior was very typical of a person who was concussed.
You recovered from it?
A key part of recovery from concussion is to get a lot of rest and not to hurry too quickly back into your daily.
In your medical opinion, should Mia have continued to play after having such a severe concussion with club soccer?
She absolutely should not have continued to play. She was already in a serious condition when she was called out, and her continuing to play was only was sealing the deal on her serious injuries.
Okay. Mia went to the second checkup. She had been admitted.
Though it probably would have been smarter to go to the second appointment, it's not entirely, it wouldn't have made much of a difference, as the suggested rest time after a concussion is 2 weeks, and Mia waited for a month before going back to game.
Objection, outside the scope of mock trial.
Overall. Do you want to share any additional information?
So, in your affidavit, it said we can never make athletes 100% safe. Is that true?
Yeah.
As a doctor, would you ever recommend to a patient to ignore a bumper blow to the head?
No.
So you said to never ignore a bumper blow to the head, yet you're here on the plaintiff's behalf, who she herself hid the fact that she had hit her head at practice. Don't you think this is contradictory?
No, because it wasn't an entirely conscious decision, as a hallmark symptom of concussion is to hide your symptoms.
In your affidavit, you state, I feel strongly that the responsibility lies with the adults in the situation, the coaches, athletic trainers, and parents. Is that correct?
Yes.
If that is your statement, then you must agree that Mia's mother is equally responsible or more for noticing that should have prevented her from playing?
Well, I think that she is somewhat responsible. I think that a coach should have at least adequate medical training to deal with a concussion. Well, that's not a required trait in a mother.
Okay, so is that correct?
No.
Okay. Then why does it say that in your affidavit? It says in your affidavit that you think that that the responsibility lies with the adults in the situation.
As I said, some responsibility does lie with her, but I don't think equal responsibility lies with her, or more than it does with the coaches.
Since you're a doctor, if you told someone to show up for a follow-up appointment and they did not come, would you find that extremely concerning?
I would find it somewhat concerning, but depending on the severity of the case, it would change mine.
You never saw Mia when she first got her concussion, correct?
No. Yeah, correct.
Then why do you feel you can make a proper diagnosis when you saw her 3 whole months after her first concussion?
With the tests that we currently run, we can find the severity and we can find out as good information about what happened, even if it was a while, a large amount of time.
So let me get this right. You're not a medical doctor, just a PhD, correct?
Yeah.
So what makes you qualified to testify on plaintiff's behalf?
I won the Mihalik Marshall Distinguished Professor Award.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Your Honor, I would like to call to the stand Sylvan O'Reilly. Please introduce yourself to the jury.
I'm Sylvan O'Reilly, and I'm 35 years old, and I teach health and sports medicine at Rowe High School, and I'm also the coach for the JV and varsity soccer teams.
What job did you apply for?
I applied for a club director at Rubicon.
What was your first impression of Jordan Reddick?
I didn't like him because I heard from other coaches that he was like he wanted to win, and he didn't really care about his players' health. And I saw him kick chairs and trash cans when his players weren't playing well.
Why did you post rude things about Jordan online?
Because I thought he got the job that should have been mine.
If you had gotten the job, would Mia still have the concussion?
I don't think so, because I think I wouldn't have let her play.
What are your thoughts about soccer?
Soccer is a great game, but it's just a game, and I don't think it's right to risk your players' health in just a game.
How much do you know about concussions?
Well, I took classes in college and to become a coach, and yeah.
Your Honor, I would like to present Exhibit 3, CDC fact sheet about concussions and brain injury. Please.
Really, do you want to hold it up and show everyone first before the jury sees it?
Did you give these fact sheets to your student-athlete's parents?
Yes, I gave them to every parent because I wanted to make sure that they were aware of it and not prevent them.
Do you have any emergency information on concussions?
I have the CDC fact sheet, CDC high school coaches heads up clipboard sticker, and the CDC high school athlete sign in and symptom posting.
Your Honors, I would like to present Exhibit 6, CDC High School Coaches Heads Up Clipboard Sticker, and Exhibit 7, CDC High School Athlete Signs and Symptom Poster. That's true. How do you emphasize your players' safety?
Well, I make sure that they're hydrated and they eat the right kinds of food and that they get enough rest, and I tell them not to play through the pain.
What is the farthest you would go to win a game?
Well, if I see that they can't, they can't play 100% because they're injured or like they're not feeling well, I pull them out.
Explain your relationship with Mia Perez.
Mia played as a striker on my soccer team, and she was probably the best player on my team.
What happened during the game against Carthage?
Mia collided against a player and hit her head, and I thought she might have gotten a concussion, so I pulled her out.
Did you tell Mia and her mother about her possible concussion?
Yes, after the game, I told them that they should go to the doctor and check up.
Did Mia tell you what her doctor said?
No, she didn't.
How was Mia feeling when she was in your fitness class?
She said she was feeling foggy, so I let her sit down, and the next day she still wasn't feeling well, so I gave her a pass to go to the library so she wouldn't just sit around in the gym.
What is Max's law?
Max's law is a law that states that if your player gets a concussion, they can't get back and play soccer unless they have a medical clearance.
What is Jenna's law?
Jenna's law is the same thing as Max's law, but it also applies for private clubs like Rubicon.
Your Honor, I would like to present Exhibit 4, Sports Concussion Fact Sheet, SB 721, Jenna's law. That will be all, Your Honor. Are you jealous that Jordan Reddick got the job as club director and you didn't?
Yes.
And you think you deserved that spot, correct?
Yes.
Do you understand that there are reasons Jordan Reddick was chosen as club director and you weren't?
Yes.
Such as the fact that he played professional soccer and you didn't?
Yes.
Did you post mean and nasty comments about Jordan Reddick on the online soccer coaches forum?
That's correct.
And Exhibit 6, please. Well, Exhibit 6. And you read over Exhibit 6, correct?
Yes.
It's the heads up, or like information sheet.
Thank you. Yes.
Do you know a lot about concussions?
Well, I took classes in college and to become a coach.
Okay, to clarify, you started reading all that you could about concussions and learned about the heads up kit? Okay. In your witness statement, you said that you watched training videos for concussions and it had guidebooks, facts, and even an app. Is all this information true?
Yes.
And the information boldly states the signs and symptoms of concussion, right?
Right.
So you feel like you know a good amount about this type of injury, correct?
Correct.
Do you know Mia pretty well?
Yeah.
Did you suspect that Mia had a concussion after the game with Carthage?
I did.
And you found out that she had her first concussion, right?
Yes.
Is this true with all this information, including the fact that you knew Mia had a previous concussion, that you didn't know Mia hit her head again?
Could you repeat that?
Is it true that with all of this information, including the fact that you knew Mia had a previous concussion, you didn't know that Mia had hit her head again?
I knew that later.
Did you give Mia a pass to sit out of Zumba?
Yes.
And you said that you knew Mia was sick, correct?
Yes.
Will you please read the highlighted section of line 12?
That's why I remember that she must be getting sick. The week after Thanksgiving, when she asked to sit out halfway through Zumba session on Tuesday.
Okay. Shouldn't a teacher tell the office if a student was feeling sick?
Correct.
And shouldn't a teacher send the student to the office to check up when they aren't feeling well?
Yes.
Did you do either of these things when you noticed that Mia was sick?
No, but she told me that she was tired from tests and she had to study. She wanted to study.
So that is a yes. I'm confused. So you knew Mia was sick, but you didn't tell anyone, correct?
Correct. Well, I told Mom after the game.
Okay. So you didn't tell. Wait, who did you tell?
I told Mia's mother after the game that she might have a concussion and she should go to the doctor.
I'm talking about the third concussion.
No. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't tell Shannon Dempsey, her coach, nor another teacher in the office, correct?
Yes.
Or you didn't?
I didn't tell. Yeah.
Okay. In your witness statement, you said that player safety comes before anything, right?
Yes.
Did you put Mia's safety before anything else?
Yes. Well. Yes.
Did you make sure that she was all right
Yeah.
after?
Yeah.
when
She didn't play for my team after that, so she never played with my team after that. So
I'm finished with this witness.
Your Honors, I would like to call Casey Perez to stand. For the court, please state your name and age.
I am Casey Perez and I am 42 years old.
State your role.
I am the mother of Mia Perez, the victim in the situation, and since she is a minor, I sued for her.
How did Mia get in this?
8 years ago, my husband died in a car accident, and afterwards I was broken, and I wanted Mia to find something to do so that she wouldn't get depressed or anything. And so I volunteered with her Brownie Scout troop, and I signed her up for all these sports at the Y, and she found soccer to be the one that she liked the most.
What are the expenses for the house soccer club?
It's anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. This includes all of the equipment fees, traveling, entry fees, and lodging for competitions.
How does Mia feel about soccer?
She loves soccer. Soccer is her life. She always idolized Cindy Parlow and Mia Hamm, and she wanted to play in the pros like them, and she would always beg me to take her to games.
What events took place during the car crash?
They were leading by 1 point, and Mia went to go score a goal, and she took an elbow, or no, she tried to head the ball, and she collided with the defender, and they both went down, but she went down hard, and she seemed a little dazed afterwards, so Coach O'Reilly pulled her out.
How did Coach O'Reilly deal with the situation?
Coach O'Reilly did not let Mia go back into the game. Mia asked to go back in, but Coach O'Reilly was adamant. And afterwards, Coach O'Reilly approached us and told us that we should probably take Mia to a doctor, and we did so. And Coach O'Reilly didn't let Mia play at practice or at the next game the following week.
I would like to present Exhibit 2 to the court, acute concussion evaluation care plan. Was Mia feeling better after you took her to the doctor?
Yeah, she was, and that was the main reason that I didn't take her to the follow-up appointment that the doctor had instructed. And I had observed her, and she didn't seem that much out of the ordinary, just seemed a little bit still shaken up. So I thought it would be fine if I didn't take her.
I would also like to present Exhibit 5 on soccer club medical consent and waiver of liability and release. What information does your soccer club ask for on the medical waiver?
They really don't ask for anything, and it's rather ironic because I have to fill out a pile of paperwork. All they really ask for is whether or not she has any life-threatening allergies or if she's gotten her tetanus shots. They do, however, have 3 lines, I think, where you can write any additional medical information. And I wrote explicitly on that line that she had suffered a concussion at the previous game the spring before.
How was Mia ranked in Rubicon?
Her team was premier level, and she was their leading scorer, and she was the captain, so her team was high up in Rubicon, and she was high up in the team.
What interactions did you have with Mia prior to the game?
I barely really saw her. I didn't see her much on Monday, and then Tuesday, when I got home, she was in her room, and then on Wednesday, I didn't see her. And Thursday morning, I didn't talk to her much, but I did talk to her a little bit. And then Thursday evening, when I got home, she seemed a little tired, and so I asked her what was wrong, and she just said that she had all these tests, and I believed her. And on Friday morning, she slept through her alarm, which is something she never does.
Why were you so busy?
Due to the expenses at Rubicon, I had to take up a second job, and in order to attend games, I generally have to work extra shifts before the week prior to games. So that week I had to work even more because the college showcase tournament was still on.
Why was the game against Triad so important?
It was a college showcase tournament, so that meant a lot of college scouts would be there. And the importance of the college scouts was Mia. She would probably have to get a scholarship in order to go to college, considering the fact that I had to take a second job in order to pay for Rubicon. I probably wouldn't be able to afford to put her through college.
What were the college scouts saying about Mia on the sidelines while she was playing?
I didn't see anything in particular. Generally, Mia's a really good player, and so she garners a lot of attention from people on the side. And they were pointing at her, so they seemed to be noticing her more out of others.
I will be continuing the direct exam of Casey Carter. Now, Casey, did you notice anything strange about Mia while she was on the field?
She seemed a little sluggish. She wasn't moving as quickly. She seemed out of it, and I was thinking that maybe in fact she was getting sick, and I was hoping that they would play.
What happened to Mia 10 minutes before the end of the first half?
She went to go score a goal, but she got hit in the head with a defender's elbow, and the rest didn't call foul, but she seemed a little dazed, and she was confused for a couple moments.
What precautions did Coach Dempsey take?
Coach Dempsey, I don't think even gave a second glance at Mia. I saw her co-captain Megan go over, but Coach Dempsey really didn't care, seemed to care.
May I approach the witness? Now, Casey, please read aloud lines 27 to 30 on page 30 from Shannon Dempsey's affidavit.
Okay. I think she might have gotten jostled by a defender, but the referee didn't call a foul. Mia sort of stood there for a minute looking disgusted that she didn't score, and Megan went over to encourage her. Then Mia jogged back into position, although not with her usual energy and enthusiasm. I didn't think anything of it at the time.
Now read line 35 to 8 on page 30 to 31.
After I finished, Mia told me, "Don't worry, Coach, I'll get a goal for us," and she ran onto the field. Immediately, Megan came over to me and said that she was concerned about Mia. Maybe I should pull her out. She said that she knew that Mia wanted to play, but that she just didn't seem like herself. Megan also said something about asking Mia if she was okay after she took an elbow on that header, but she got a blank look and didn't say anything. Before I could reply, the referee blew his whistle to start the second half, and Megan had to run onto the field. I thought about yelling for a sub to pull Mia out, but she had seemed so eager to get back on the field that I decided to just watch her. 5 minutes later, Mia sent a rocket towards the goal, but the goalkeeper made an amazing save.
What happened just after halftime?
Mia went to go score another goal, and she once more collided with a defender, and she went down hard. The defender wasn't affected at all, but I was waiting for her to get back up, and she didn't. She just lay there.
Please turn to the jury and say what Coach Dempsey said to you on the field.
She said, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I knew that Mia was hurt and I should have done something about it."
What followed the events of the game?
They called the ambulance onto the field when they realized that she was unconscious, and I got into the ambulance with her, and I just kept thinking, it can't be her, not her.
What did the doctor's test results say?
They said that she had suffered a concussion, and they had told us that she would probably take a little while to recover, a couple weeks or so. And they did say that in a small percentage of cases, they continue to experience symptoms long after that, and they said so.
What happened to Mia a few days after she was released?
She started to have sensitivity to light and noise, and she was forgetful, moody, depressed. She just was not herself.
Now, please explain why Mia isn't present in the court today.
It's too much stress for her. Even a year later, she has nausea, dizziness, sensitivity to light. We have to have blue lights in the house because she can't handle regular ones. And as it is right now, she can't handle anything. She's taking only one online class, and she's definitely not going to graduate with the class. And so just stress is too much for her.
What did Mia say to you as she woke up in the hospital?
She said that she had gotten hit in the head at the practice before the competition, and she had seemed a little different, and that was why.
Did anyone ever tell you about what happened at Mia's practice when she hit her head?
Coach Dempsey never told me anything about it, and I know for sure that she got hit because she told me, and I figured that she probably would know about that.
How does training for Coach O'Reilly compare to Rubicon?
Coach O'Reilly's an excellent coach. There's all these protocols in place for high schools, and he follows them, and he has lots of training for concussions. Coach Dempsey, however, at the time there was no laws or anything governing clubs. And Coach Dempsey, as far as I can tell, is not very educated. They talk about all this nutrition and ACL prevention, but other than that, they do nothing else.
Now, to reiterate, did you or did you not put on that medical waiver that Mia suffered a concussion in the past?
I wrote explicitly on the medical waiver that she had suffered a concussion the spring before, so that they would know to look out for her.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. No further questions.
Nancy Cross.
Before I begin my questioning, I would like to give my deepest sympathies to Casey Perez, and I hope that Mia will soon have a full recovery. Mia sustained a concussion in May 2012, correct? While playing for Tobin O'Reilly?
Correct.
And Mr. O'Reilly recommended seeing a doctor, right?
Correct.
And you took Mia to see Dr. Mueller the next day, correct? What did Dr. Mueller say about the concussion?
He said that she should avoid physical activity and that she should come for a follow-up appointment, but I didn't take her to the follow-up appointment because recon tryouts were over, so.
But he did specifically recommend a follow-up appointment, correct?
Correct.
And you did not take her? Okay. In your honor, I would like to present Exhibit 1. And Ms. Perez, in that is the ACA concussion evaluation, and it says in section F that it says, so in section F, can you read what it is in the checked section?
The highlighted or
The highlight.
Follow-up action plan. There's a check section that says physician / clinic office monitoring, date of next follow-up, May 12th, 2012.
Also, you are aware that Shannon Dempsey was filling in for Michelle Bowdy, right? Do you think Miss Bowdy knew about the first concussion?
As far as I am
Let's say that you were filling in for a coach, and if one of your players had, for example, severe asthma, would you expect their parent to tell you personally about it?
Well, if I was responsible, I would have gone through all the medical waivers to ensure that there was no allergies or anything, and then I would have seen.
But as a coach, would you expect a parent to personally tell you?
Not necessarily.
And was Mia excited about the college showcase tournament?
Yeah, she was really excited. She was working really hard to be able to be at her best.
And as her parent, did you notice anything unusual about her behavior this week? That week, sorry.
Yeah, she seemed a little off. She was sleeping a lot more than usual, and I didn't think anything of it because she didn't display that symptom at her previous concussion. But that Thursday night that I had seen her, she seemed like she wanted to say something, and she hesitated, but then she walked away.
So that would be a yes that you did notice unusual behavior. And did you ever consider taking her to a doctor that week?
Not really, because she had told me that she had all those tests, and I figured that it was just a lot of stress on her because she had the game, and on top of that, she had all these things.
And do you expect Coach Dempsey to be best friends with your daughter?
To a certain extent, I believe that the coach should communicate with the players, and as far as I can tell, he really doesn't. He's more off to the side, and he doesn't really talk to them. They don't have anything like the relationship that the high school coaches have with the players. So I believe that he shouldn't try to engage with them, but I believe that he should.
Do you believe that Mr. Dempsey improved Mia's skills as a soccer player?
Yes, I think Coach Dempsey is excellent at being able to stress hard work is going to get you somewhere, and I think that that's a valuable trait, but at the same time, he didn't work that really hard. It wasn't perfect all the time.
So you did not take your daughter back to the follow-up exam, right?
No.
All right, Ms. Perez, could you please read the highlighted portion of 28 and 29?
I figured that maybe she was getting sick after all, and I'd hope she'd be able to shake it off and play well.
So you knew that she was sick before the game?
Well, I had noticed the change in behavior, and I figured that maybe she was coming down with a cold because she was working so hard that week. So I figured that maybe she was.
So why didn't you ask to pull her out if you noticed that she was sick and she wasn't playing to her fullest?
Because I have noticed sometimes at previous games when she was nervous, she hasn't played to her full extent at first, but then she generally gets back to normal.
And, but why did you hope that she could play when she was sick?
I figured that the scholarship was really important, so I thought that if she was able to pull through, that would have a lasting effect on the rest of her life. She'd be able to go to college and be able to play.
And could you read the highlight section here?
We never did go back for the follow-up visit with Dr. Mueller. It just didn't seem necessary since the Rubicon Club soccer tryouts were underway.
I'm confused. How does your daughter's health not seem necessary?
She said that she was feeling fine, and I didn't notice any particular difference in her, and she seemed a lot better than she was when she got hit, so I didn't think that it would be necessary to take her to the game, or the ball.
All right, and Mia slept past her alarm, correct?
Yes.
And if this was not her usual behavior, why didn't you check and take her to a doctor in case?
Because she was a junior in high school, so she had to have really good scores on her finals, and because she had to apply for college, and so I figured that she was just working a lot harder than she had her sophomore or freshman.
All right. Also, what did you say that Shannon Dempsey said after Mia got injured?
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I knew that she was hurt.
All right, and could you please read the highlighted portion of 1920?
I said how sorry I was that Mia had gotten hurt and how I was sure she would be okay.
So Shannon Dempsey stated that he did not say what you stated he said?
Well, I stated that he said so there's no difference.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Okay, what national license did you earn?
I earned a national D license.
Are you all about player safety?
I am about player safety.
Tell us about your ACL prevention program.
Rubicon has an ACL prevention program in partnership with Julian College, and we try to help our players keep safe and not tear their ACL.
Has any player torn their ACL with the Rubicon Soccer Club?
I'm not sure if anyone has torn their ACL with the Rubicon Soccer Club, but no one has ever torn their ACL playing for me.
Did you notice Mia wasn't playing well in the game?
I did notice that Mia was not playing like herself in the game.
What did you do about it?
I pulled her out to check on her.
What did you do when Mia tripped and fell at practice?
I took Mia out of the practice to check on her when she fell.
How long did she stay out?
I took her out for the rest of the practice.
On Wednesday, why did Mia miss practice?
Mia missed practice.
Objection, Your Honor, that was outside the scope of mock trial. He didn't take her out for practice.
Objection sustained. On Thursday's practice, why was Mia tired and quiet?
She had told me that she was studying for tests and she was up late.
What did Mia tell you? What did Mia tell you?
She told me that she was studying and that she was very tired.
Did Casey tell you about any previous concussions Mia has suffered?
She did not tell me personally about any previous concussions.
When the first time Casey told you?
The first time Casey Perez told me about Mia's first concussion was when I called after the final game in the college showcase to check on her, to see if Mia was okay.
What kind of players? What kind of relationships do you keep with players?
I try to keep a coaching relationship and not so much as a friend relationship.
How do you treat them?
I treat them like they're my players.
Yeah.
Please state your name, age, and position in this trial.
My name is Shannon Dempsey. I am a full-time coach for under 17 Premier Soccer Club.
Why are you a soccer coach if you don't have much medical training on concussions?
Because I love the game of soccer and I like to coach players.
Is loving the game of soccer any excuse to put a child's life in danger for you? You like coaching boys soccer better, correct?
Correct.
Why?
Because they are easier to express themselves and they just blurt things out.
On game day you didn't keep Mia out, right? Could you tell Mia was acting strange?
I could tell that she was not playing herself.
Why didn't you keep her out of the game if she was clearly hurt?
Because she was really wanted to get that college scholarship and she was one of the best players.
Do you agree that when these concussive events happen, she's a minor, so she can't be held accountable?
Objection, opinion.
You want to explain, lady, why you think that question is a valid question?
I'm saying this because when these concussive events happened, Mia was 17, so she was a minor, so she can't be held accountable for lying.
Okay, goes to you, judges. What do you think?
Reaction of
You were where Mia fell at practice, correct?
Yes.
I'm confused. If you knew Mia was hurt, why didn't you tell her mother?
Because I was in a hurry and she was already at her car by the time I was ready to go talk to her.
What were you doing that's more important than looking at a child's medical form, the one that changed your whole life?
I thought that I gave it to my assistants, and if one of my players ever had an injury, I could look at them of it.
Objection. What grounds?
The objection.
Can you repeat the question?
Is it that difficult?
No.
Is it?
The one before. What were you doing?
Oh, okay. What were you doing that's more important than looking at a player's medical form, the one that changed your whole life?
Objection sustained.
It does say that in his witness statement. It says that he only wanted to look at them if there was an injury, which there was.
That just sustained it. The judge already sustained it.
All right, call to order. Up to you, judges.
Is it difficult to go up to Mia as she's walking to her car to ask her if she was okay?
No.
Player safety is important to you, correct?
Correct.
Then why didn't you look at her medical form or learn about player safety and concussion?
Because I thought that I didn't need to.
Can you agree that if you would have looked at Mia's medical form, she would have been okay?
Yes.
No further questions?
Objection.
On the ground. It's a repetition. Repetition. She repeated the question.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
You guys have to decide on what grounds.
Repetition. She repeated the question about checking the data.
Which one?
The last question. This might work against you.
Can you agree
He's
that
allowed
if
to
you
reiterate though.
I didn't repeat this one. Can you agree that if you would have looked at Mia's medical form, she would have been okay?
Objection.
That's an opinion.
That's an opinion.
Objection sustained.
Okay, so jury, you've got to just scratch that answer from your minds.
how Jordan and I stand. Mr. Reddick, tell the jury a little about yourself.
Well, my name is Jordan Reddick. I'm 39 years old, and I'm the director of Rubicon Soccer Club. And my condolences go out to the Perez family.
What college did you attend?
I attended Julian College.
What did you major in?
I majored in sports administration.
What type of things does that entail?
It includes marketing, event planning, public relations, and statistics.
And why did you decide to take over a new soccer team?
Well, I was coaching at Triad, and they had a lot of very talented athletes, and I don't think the coaches were utilizing those athletes' skills to the best of their abilities. So I was happy when I was offered the job at Rubicon.
And what year did you start directing Rubicon?
2006.
And what was your previous soccer experience before that?
As I said, I coached at Triad, and I went to Julian on a full soccer scholarship.
So how many years have you been directing now?
14.
And may you tell the jury ways Rubicon emphasizes health and injury prevention?
Well, our website, and also our players, we try to train them in health and injury prevention.
Is the information on the website readily available for anyone to read? And what must you do to access the information?
It is readily available, and all you have to do is go online and then click on all of the links that we have.
Objection, this information is irrelevant because none of it contains any information about concussions.
Well, it contains information about the health.
It contains information about ACLs and nutrition.
In comparison to other state clubs, would you say Rubicon has more or less in ACL injuries?
Much less.
And who helps your players with health and medical treatment?
Our coaches and medical students from Julian College.
So tell the jury a little about your deal with Julian College.
Well, Julian College sends over its medical students to help our players, and they receive on the field training, and it's a great partnership.
How many other state clubs have the ACL Injury Prevention Project?
No others.
And what are your coaches required to have before you hire them?
They have to have a national D-level coaching license, and I myself have a national C-level.
So mostly all of your coaches have at least some first aid training?
No, they all do.
And what do you think of injury prevention in general?
I think it's very important.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. That was my final question.
So what is your background in soccer in general?
Well, I was a coach at Triad for 6 years, and I've been directing Rubicon for 6 years, and I played at Julian College in the pros.
So what got you to leave Triad and move on to Rubicon?
Well, I didn't agree with their coaching style, and so I jumped when I was offered the job.
So I would like you to read page 33 on line 11 to 14.
The highlighted parts? Okay. I disagreed with the Triad Board of Directors over their coaching philosophy. The Triad teams were underperforming, in my opinion. They should have been winning state cup championships with the talented players in the club.
So you're saying that you left because they weren't really winning?
Objection? Irrelevant. It doesn't have to do with the case.
Do you want to, Chelsea, do you want to argue how this would play a part in the case?
Sure, because on page 37 you said if we only care about winning, we have gone to all that trouble.
So tie it into the case about Mia's concussion, how would this, what are you seeking to prove?
I'm saying that if he cares about winning, then maybe they would. It's probably their fault that they got through all this trouble.
Objection over.
What did you mean you were looking forward to the slaughter between Triad and
Well, I'm a competitive person, and I would have liked to see my old club be beat by my new club.
Can you tell us about the time when you and your friend in college got concussions and, as stated in your affidavit?
Well, I got a minor concussion in college, and
Objection, irrelevant.
Well, I just want to know, like, if he had, like, his experiences with concussion.
Could you repeat the question?
So, can you tell us about the time when you and your friends in college got concussions, as stated in your affidavit?
Judge, did you have to determine?
Objection overruled.
Why didn't you care about Jenna's law?
Objection.
I just want to know if he cares about his player's safety.
I do care very much about my players' safety.
Then why didn't you care about Jenna's law or Max's?
Jenna's law wasn't submitted before.
But he never said it existed before Mia's injury. Well, you said it's just that you weren't really familiar with it.
No.
It didn't exist. It didn't exist
Before.
before.
It was made after Mia's injury.
You never said that in your affidavit.
Well, it's a statement, I know it lies as fact.
It was already explained earlier in the trial.
Judges, stand your rule.
Sustained.
Okay, redirect.
Do you teach your kids about injuries, or do you expect them to go on your websites?
Well, I expect them to do both.
You yourself said that it was hard to find information on head injuries on the USS websites, and that you have to search for it. So how do you expect your players to search for the same information that you can find? So describe Mia's physical behaviors at the tournament when Triad was against Sylvan.
Some of the college scouts were mentioning that she wasn't performing as well as she could have, and it didn't look like she was giving her all of it.
Okay, I would like you to read page 37 on line 1 through.
Not sure if I should join them or keep out of the way. I don't have any medical training and figured I couldn't really help, so I stayed on the sidelines.
So I would like to examine Exhibit 6, the heads-up concussion guide for the coaches. If you would have read this kit, do you think you would have recognized that Mia was hurt at the tournament?
Objection, outside the scope front.
Objection sustained.
Why?
Let's go back to page 36. On line 7, you said she hasn't been working very hard. And then on line 20, you said she looked a bit uncoordinated. And on line 28, you said she looked a bit confused at times. And then on line 29, you said she wasn't sure where to go. And these symptoms match clearly on the heads-up kit. For example, it said that the player is maybe confused or about assignment or position and moves clumsily. Do you think you would have saved her? Do you think you would have saved her if you knew about this?
We need to object to it.
No more time. No more time.
No more time.
Okay. Judges, you can have the witness step down.
yourself? Or no, so but can you please tell us about yourself?
My name is Chris Durant. I'm a senior at Royal High School, and I was good friends with Mia.
Do you know why Mia left the high school soccer JV team?
She wanted to play for a competitive club and possibly get a scholarship.
What happened at the end of Mia's soccer season playing for high school soccer?
At the end of the season, she hit her head and got a malformation.
Can I please use Exhibit 7? Could you please read, give yourself time to get better?
If you have had a concussion, your brain needs time to heal. While your brain is still healing, you are much more likely to have a second concussion. Second or later concussions can cause damage to your brain. It is important to rest until you get approval from a doctor or healthcare professional to return to work.
Who stopped Mia from attending her vital follow-up appointment?
Her mother placed in her head. Didn't take her to
Who chose to go to the consult?
Mia chose
What was Mia hoping to get out of the consult?
She was hoping to get a scholarship for college because her family doesn't have the money, so they really need a scholarship.
And just to clarify, this was the only way she was going to go to college. Why didn't Mia want you to tell anyone of the secret she had told you at school?
If I told anyone about her concussion, they would have prevented her from playing, therefore making her unable to get a scholarship.
Could you please read what are the symptoms of concussion in Exhibit 7?
Headache or pressure in the head, nausea or vomiting, balance problems or dizziness, double or blurry vision, bothered by light, bothered by noise, feeling sluggish, hazy, foggy, or groggy, difficulty paying attention, memory problems, confusion, does not feel.
Which of these symptoms did you see in Mia the day she told you her secret?
I saw that Mia was a little dizzy. She looked kind of down, and she had a headache, and she did not feel.
Who has known Mia the longest in this case? Don't you think that person, Casey Perez, should have realized the differences in Mia that you had? How long did it take you to recognize Mia's odd behavior?
I realized there was something wrong with her during AP Fitness, and my suspicions were confirmed during AP History.
How many years has Shannon Dempsey coached Mia?
Just one.
So you would agree that a whole lifetime is definitely smaller than a short time of knowing Mia. Where are you on the defense?
If Mia's mother could not tell that she had a head injury or something was wrong with her, how would have Shannon Dempsey or Jordan Reddick?
If Mia had played well and gone to her planned follow-up appointment, where would you see Mia today?
I would see Mia playing like her heroes, Mia Hammond.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Did you tell anyone about Mia's concussion?
No.
You were one of Mia's best friends, correct? And you've been friends with Mia since middle school, correct? As your duty as a friend, you chose not to tell Mia about Mia's concussion because you thought you would be ratting on a friend. You said this situation doesn't happen to any other athlete, correct?
Objection.
No, never mind. I object.
Sorry. All right. Shannon objected, so continue. Sorry.
If you hope this doesn't happen to any other athlete, then shouldn't you have told somebody about Mia? Do you think you could have saved Mia if you had told somebody? said yourself that you should have told someone. Also, you said that Mia hid her symptoms from her coaches and parents, but you could have told them, couldn't you? Did you try to help Mia at all?
Yes, I gave her some medicine and I tried to contact her, but she's fine and she would try to.
You realized that there was a concussion poster on Tobin O'Reilly's class, and you said that you took personal fitness with him, correct?
Objection, outside the scope of mock trial.
For which question are you speaking?
Pretty much the last 10. Probably the ones regarding that he could have saved Mia, saying that's...
Opinion. Objection sustained.
Please read lines 16 to 19 on page 4.
Mia said her friend was sick during tryouts and didn't do as well as normal, so she got demoted even though she had been one of the best players. Mia had overheard the club director, Jordan Wright, saying that when the parents player was sick, if she couldn't opt out and do better than the tryouts, she would use it until game 2.
You said that Mia told you that Rubicon was too ruthless and too quick to demote players. Do you think this could mean that they might not pay attention to the star players' health because they want to win?
Objection, opinion.
Objection sustained.
Your Honor, parents, members of the jury, good morning. For the past hour and a half, we have been listening to the story of Mia Perez and her injuries and whether or not Rubicon Soccer Club can be held accountable for them. So far, you have listened from you have heard of six different witnesses. Each of them has told you their own version of the same story. However, let's review the facts, the things that we know undisputedly. Firstly, we know that Mia Perez has suffered from 3 different concussions. One on May the 4th, 2012, while playing in a soccer game for her school, Rao High School. A second on November 26, 2012, during practice in the care of Shannon Dempsey. And then a final and ultimately ruining concussive event on December the 2nd, 2012, during a tournament game playing for Rubicon Soccer. We know that Shannon Dempsey had never read any of his players' medical waivers, and that he had never told Mia Perez's mother about her injury at practice. And that we know that Casey Perez had never gone for a follow-up appointment about Mia's injury, and that Mia hadn't told anyone about her second concussion. However, this being said, we know that Mia was under the influence of a concussion and wasn't thinking clearly. We know that Jordan Reddick had forgotten to pick up a CDC concussion prevention form, and that he doesn't have any information on that kind of injury on the Rubicon website, and that Chris Durant chose not to tell anyone about Mia's concussion. We know that some of the symptoms of concussion are that the victim may be dazed, slow to respond to questions, be clumsy, lose consciousness, not think clearly, have mood swings, personality changes, be sensitive to light and sound. The list goes on. And finally, we know that Mia can't be here today because those symptoms have reached a critical point of no return, resulting in permanent brain damage. Now, the defense has put up a good argument. Much of what they have said is obviously well thought through and rehearsed, and I respect that. But let's get back to the charges. We, the plaintiff, are charging Shannon Dempsey with negligently ignoring clear symptoms of concussions exhibited by Mia Perez. We, the plaintiff, are charging Jordan Reddick with failing to educate his players and coaches about the dangers of concussions and putting plaintiff Mia Perez in danger because of that. And finally, we, the plaintiff, are charging Rubicon Soccer Club failure to gather and disseminate specific information about Mia Perez's concussion from her medical waiver. So it all comes down to one thing: negligence. The idea that someone has a responsibility to take care of someone else and fails to do so. Now, most would argue that Casey Perez should be the defendant here, her being Mia Perez's mother and therefore more liable for her safety. Yet those people are forgetting one crucial fact. All of Mia's concussions took place during soccer, the only time of the day when Mia's coaches are more liable to her safety. meaning that even if that's a minuscule amount of time by comparison to the amount of time Casey is with Mia, that time was spent carelessly and ended up ruining an innocent girl's life. Now, to find the defense guilty, there has to be what is called preponderance of evidence. Now, that means that if you look at all the facts, then more than half of it would point to Rubicon's guilt of negligence. From my point of view, it's simple math. Mia Perez had 3 concussions. One of them could have, the evidence shows, could have been partly the Perez family's fault. However, the other 2 clearly show that they are Rubicon's. That's a 1-to-2 ratio, meaning that around 2/3 of the evidence shows Rubicon. It's simple math. And as I said before, more than half of the evidence must show that Rubicon is guilty, which it does most definitely. So I asked the jury to look at this case with reason and come to the sound conclusion that Rubicon Soccer Club and its associates are guilty of negligence towards Mia Perez and should pay to compensate for the damages that they have caused. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can an athlete blame a coach for not knowing about a condition she purposely hides from her coach? How is that fair? Can we do our best to fool people and then blame them for being fooled? Whatever you may think of the defendant's actions in this case, there's no avoiding the fact that the plaintiff has the greatest share of fault. As you know, the defendants are alleged to have been negligent, in other words, not taking care of their players. How can we expect the coach, who only spends a few hours a week with Mia, to notice her condition, and the people who live with her do not? Is it really fair to expect a coach to know more about Mia than her own mother? Casey Perez is suing for negligence, yet she did not go to an appointment specifically instructed by a doctor. Did Jordan Reddick pick up a concussion kit? No. Did Shannon Dempsey look at the medical forms? No again. But neither of them failed to take the simplest step that would have avoided all of this. The simple, easy, and obvious step of attending a required follow-up doctor's appointment. The coaches do indeed have a responsibility of their players. How responsible can they be when the person they are trying to help won't let them? The plaintiff claims it is a symptom to pretend you do not have a concussion or to not tell people around you. But the point here is not why Mia hid the injury. The point is that she did hide it. And unfortunately, she was good at it. So good, in fact, she convinced her friend to hide it too. The result is that Mia left her coaches with little to no information. The underlying question of this entire case is how much the coaches are responsible for. These coaches extended their time, energy, and best intentions to Mia. When Mia lied to them, claiming she was just tired from the tests that week in school, she lost the right to blame them. If Tobin O'Reilly was so well educated on concussions, why didn't he notice her condition? Why didn't he reach out to Shannon to let him know what had happened during the high school games? Why didn't Casey Perez do something more than just a handwritten note on a piece of paper? Why didn't she talk with the coach about Mia's prior injuries? If you can recall, the doctor who had seen Mia through all of her concussions was not Dr. Register. Why is he testifying for the plaintiff if he hasn't diagnosed Mia for a single concussion? He tried to tell you what Shannon and Jordan did wrong, but he ended up telling you what the plaintiff did wrong. The cross-examiner, Bevan Register, asked him if he thought it extremely important to attend a follow-up appointment. What did he say? He said it would be very important to attend a follow-up appointment he or any other doctor instructed. In other words, he agreed with the defense. Now, I ask you this. Who is more at fault? The coach of Mia who did not post a link about general concussions on their website, or the person who has known Mia her entire life, her own mother, who skipped a doctor's appointment specifically about Mia's health? We are all sorry that Mia is hurt, and we all wish this has never happened. The plaintiff has asked you to blame Shannon and Jordan for what happened. You cannot do that because the facts do not support it. Sometimes bad things happen, and sometimes, perhaps most of the time, it just isn't anyone's fault. We all wish Mia well, but this lawsuit is not the cure she needs.
Plaintiff gets 2 minutes for a rebuttal.
Okay, first I would like to bring up that when McKeon said that Dr. Register had said that it was true that they should come to the follow-up appointment, that was not true. Because if you would recall from the cross-examination that he said no, it is not necessarily required if certain precautions are taken. And here, as a rebuttal to Mia lied, yes, Mia did lie. However, this is a court of law, meaning that you cannot bring your own prejudged opinions or feelings into the courtroom. And according to Oregon state law, a child cannot legally make significant decisions until they are 18 years old. Mia Perez was 17 at the time, meaning that she cannot be held accountable for making those kinds of decisions for herself. Not to mention that she was under the influence of a concussion and not thinking clearly at all. And for no follow-up appointment, Mia Perez was never taken to a follow-up appointment for the first concussion. And granted, that wasn't a very responsible decision. However, if you would look at Dr. Register's, our expert witness testimony, Ben Register is a PhD in sports medicine and has been studying the long-term effects of concussions for around 20 years. You will see that as an expert, he recommends to wait 2 weeks after concussions, after the symptoms had cleared up before returning to play. Mia's symptoms stopped less than a week after, and then she had waited around a month after that before returning to soccer either way. So she had waited more than enough time to need to ever go for a follow-up appointment, and her mother had taken a reasonable choice in not going.
You're funny.
No one reveal it.
Vanessa, you're funny.
The judges said they were going to do that.
Oh. We might have to call the order again.
We reached a verdict.
Okay. We have found the defense not guilty.
What? Defense?
They're not guilty.
Oh, okay.
What were the charges against Rubicon and what are they not guilty of? Okay.
Rubicon is not guilty of.
In real life, so Rubicon then is not held to charges paying for Mia's unfortunate medical condition. But in real life, perhaps there would even be another civil trial. Maybe they would try to find someone else or some other entity to try to pay for her medical. Who do you think that they try to, that there could be a civil trial about?
Maybe her friend.
Maybe her friend, okay.
Doctor.
Because the point is, Casey Perez is grieving losing her child's mental capacity and has all these medical issues. So might need somebody to.
Y'all get paid? That's not going to pay for it.
Yeah. Y'all get paid. So I just want to tell you guys how fabulous you are. Champs, and you know, I'm really glad that parents and grandparents have been able to come watch because they've done a superb job. They've worked really, really hard.